Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Bustamante?
Aye.
Mr. Jaramillo?
Aye.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Aye.
Mrs. Quintero?
Aye. Thank you. Governing board comments? Mr. Jaramillo?
None.
No? Mr. Bustamante?
Nope.
No? Mr. Rodriguez
I
does.
do have a lot of comments, but I guess I got a section where I want to present what happened in the law conference, but I did attend the pre-law and the law conference in Scottsdale, and it was really, really worthwhile. And so I'll report on that later on. I've got quite a few notes, and so I've been spending 2 days trying to figure out my scribbles, so it was a lot. That was a lot. And also, I don't know, I know you guys probably don't get the paper, but they had a really good article this morning on 2 Sunnyside cross-country athletes. Yeah, 2 seniors, Roxanne Valenzuela and Asaf Gurola Burgueño. And not only are they seniors on the cross-country team on the respective teams, but they're also boyfriend and girlfriend. So, yeah, it's a really, really good story, but the main emphasis of this is about the camaraderie and the teamwork and the pride and all the aspects of being a team that is reflected on the coaching. The coaching by Mr. Rodriguez is, the kids say, he always tells us to, don't worry about it. That's just a setback in order for you to have a setup, which is really, really good. And these kids just seem so happy. It doesn't matter what they come out, as long as they get a chance to compete. So this was a really good article if you get a chance to read it.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome. That's all I have.
That's all you have?
Well, for right now.
Oh, okay, all right. So I just want to thank our team who did the calendars. They're beautiful and well done. So
Yes.
congratulations.
Thank
They are super cool.
A lot to read.
Yeah, it's like, I like the ideas and I like what you put in there, and so it's like awesome. And also, there's gonna be a peace march, September 20th from 9 till 10:30. We're marching from Mission Manor School all the way to Liberty School, and we're gonna be traveling with our peace pole. And Desert View Marching Band will be leading the way, and Desert View cheerleaders. And then all the community who wants to join us. And all of you. So that's it for our comments. Superintendent report.
Yes, thank you, Madam President Quintero, members of the board, members of the audience. We're going to start with the best attendance for August. As we continue to strive for great attendance this school year, we would like to acknowledge our top 3 schools and their amazing attendance for the month of August. We honor these schools with gold, silver, and bronze rankings. Earning the bronze medal is Apollo Middle School with the 93.81% attendance.
Nice.
Earning silver medal is Gallego Primary with a 94.85 attendance. And taking the top spot of the gold medal is Elvira Elementary School with 95%, 0.04% or 95.04% attendance. A big congratulations goes out to all our schools. As a grand total, we have 19 schools earning 90% attendance for the month of August. So that's a really good
Awesome.
start.
Yay.
So congratulations to all the schools. Raytheon Leaders in Education finalist. Tucson Values Teachers has named Ilaria Seslog, a 5th grade teacher at Los Amigos Technology Academy, as a finalist for the 2025 Raytheon Leaders in Education Award. This prestigious recognition celebrates outstanding educators across Pima County who demonstrate exceptional commitment to their students, leadership within their school communities, and dedication to supporting their fellow teachers. As a finalist, Ms. Zilog, I think I'm screwing that up, Zilog, okay. I know her as Ilaria, but we're being formal here. Is being honored for her innovative teaching, passion for student success, and the positive impact she makes every day at Los Amigos Technology Academy. So well-deserved recognition, and we wish her a lot of luck as she is a finalist. And if you ever get a chance, visit her classroom. Some amazing things are happening there. Desert View High School's FFA officers attend chapter officer leadership training. Desert View's FFA chapter officers had the amazing opportunity to attend the chapter officer leadership training at the 4 Points by Sheraton and ASU Polytechnic campus. Desert View's team participated in hands-on workshops, leadership sessions, and team building activities that help them grow as officers and prepare to better serve the chapter this year. From sharpening communication skills to learning how to plan successful events, our students walked away with new tools, ideas, and plenty of inspiration. So congratulations to our FFA students. TPD donations. Tucson Operations Division South continues to be an outstanding partner in education for our district, showing up for students and families in ways that build stronger, more caring, and safe communities is a huge part of what they do. They shared a very generous donation of items to Elvira and Ocotillo Learning Center that will be used as incentives as students aim high to achieve their goals as young leaders. We appreciate you. Teaching Partners Professional Learning Series. Last week, a group of our amazing educators from Los Amigos Technology Academy had the honor of attending the Teaching Partners Professional Learning Series. This was a 2-day training in Tempe focused on early math instruction, inclusive practices, and co-teaching strategies to better support all learners. Our staff dove deep into discussions around the number sense, collaboration between general and special education, and our school-wide vision for math success. It was a powerful opportunity to reflect, grow, and bring back tools and strategies that will benefit our students. So congratulations to Los Amigos. Somos Sunnyside. We have a new episode of Somos Sunnyside that was released today. We hear from Chris Higgins, the mayor of Sunnyside. No, I'm kidding. I just threw that in there. A proud product of the Sunnyside District, who works in the Safety and Security Department. In this episode, Chris discusses his time growing up in Sunnyside and the importance of staying connected with the Sunnyside community to build a brighter future for our current students and the generations that will follow. You can tune in directly on our website or through your favorite podcasting platform. So this concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you. Board recognitions. We have any? We do, right?
Test, test. Well, good evening, everyone. We're super excited to continue celebrating two amazing teachers in our district who were recognized last week. HSL Properties, which is a commercial real estate company here in Tucson, partners with KVOA Channel 4 every year to open up these teacher nominations. So the two teachers we're celebrating today were nominated by somebody that they've impacted, obviously. And so then HSL Properties kind of narrows down the nominations to 10 finalists, and then through a voting system, they announced the 5 winners. And so out of the 5 winners from all of Tucson, 2 of them happen to be Sunnyside teachers. And so we're super excited to honor them tonight. I think the story will be better told through the video that was shared on KVOA, which we have clips of both teachers to share with you. And we'll get through those, and then we'll have the honorees come up.
Well, as part of our News 4 Tucson partnership with HSL Properties, we surprised another superstar teacher today. It's all part of the HSL Teacher Appreciation Awards.
And it's really great. Of course, we asked you to vote for your favorite teacher, and now we are celebrating the winners. Today, we went along with HSL Properties Vice President Lisa Rosenfeld and Sunnyside Unified School District staff to surprise Mission Manor Elementary School teacher Sandeep Oska. Rosenfeld presented Oska with a $1,000 check from HSL Properties and expressed her gratitude for those who voted for their favorite teachers.
Really means more to have the community participate that and to hear these wonderful stories about the impact that these teachers have made on individual lives is really special.
It's a privilege, and I definitely say my staff that I have an amazing staff. I only did this through their support, by their support.
Aska is just one of a handful of teachers at HSL. Surprising, as part of the HSL Teacher Appreciation Awards for HSL, it's all about community. And be sure and stay tuned for more of those surprises.
I think we've got one more.
Well, as part of our News 4 Tucson partnership with HSL Properties, we surprised another superstar teacher today. It's all part of the HSL Teacher Appreciation Awards.
And it's really great. Of course, we asked you to vote for your favorite teacher, and now we are.
As part of News 4 Tucson's partnership with HSL Properties, we surprised. As part of News 4 Tucson's partnership with HSL Properties, we surprised a superstar teacher today, all part of the HSL Teacher Appreciation Awards.
This is really great. And we asked you to vote for your favorite teacher, and now we are celebrating the winners. Today, we went along with HSL Properties Vice President Lisa Rosenfeld and Sunnyside Unified School District staff to surprise Desert View High School English teacher Wendy Fierros. Rosenfeld presented Fierros with a $1,000 check from HSL Properties.
A lot of times our teachers are underappreciated. They have such a huge impact on our community, you know, our children. They spend more time with our kids really than we do. So we want to make sure they know how much we value them and appreciate everything they do for our kids and our community.
Teaching is my passion. Teaching is what I was born to do, honestly. I come to work every day and I'm that adult for the students, that their safe place.
Fierros is just one of a handful of teachers that HSL is surprising as part of the HSL Teacher Appreciation Awards for HSL. It's all about community. Stay tuned for more surprises.
So with that, I'd like to welcome up Miss Wendy Fierros from Desert View High School. And Mr. Sandeep Aska, also from Mission Manor Elementary. And I know that both of their principals are here, that they have amazing words to share about both of our honorees. And then if you guys want to share a few words with us, you'll be more than welcome to.
So good evening, everyone. I'm excited again to be here to celebrate these incredible teachers. And for us, of course, Miss Wendy Fierros. I think that video really highlighted the fact that this recognition came from a student. You saw the student handing her a bouquet of flowers. That was a graduate from the class of 2025, Miss Alexa Barrios, that nominated Miss Fierros for this award. And it was the community that recognized and voted for her. She has been a long-standing teacher in our district, and I really love to tell people that she is one of those unique unicorns that taught first grade and is now teaching juniors. But the love that she has for her students, it just exudes, and that is why really it was super easy to vote for her today. And I will be remiss if I don't say that her extra passion for our multilingual learners is truly the work that she is leading and doing at Desert View. And so we're super excited for what she's done. The visit was a complete surprise. And Wendy always has an army around her. We were lucky enough to have DLT on campus, and all of her family, which I'm sure she'll introduce, her daughter and her parents that are here, also a graduate from Desert View. But that is how we come together to really honor and celebrate you. You are truly the epitome of what it means to have the pride of a Jaguar. So thank you for all that you do, Miss Wendy.
All right, well, thank you for making me follow that up. That was great. Just a couple of things with Mr. Oska here. He's been with us for 7 years now at Mission Manor, and he is one of our autism teachers. He teaches 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. And honestly, the passion that he has each and every day, and the patience that he's got every single day does not ever go unnoticed. I'm very blessed and thankful that you're at Mission Manor, Mr. Oska. One of his parents is the one that congratulated him as well and sent out the first vote for him. And again, just like Ms. Duddleson said, the community around here voted for him, and he just does amazing things each and every day, and his patience is just unbelievable. And I just want to thank you again for being part of our team, and our entire autism staff is truly amazing at Mission Manor. So thank you, Mr. Oscar.
I just want to thank you for this recognition. My family's here today, my parents, my daughter. It's just, I've been at this for a while now. This is my 20th year as an educator. I started here at Los Ranchitos, Los Amigos, Gallego, and now Desert View. So I love our district. I love everything we stand for. I love our kids. And it's just really nice to be recognized. So thank you so much. Thank you, Ms. Duddleson, the admin team, for your love and support always. I love coming to work. We love
First of all, thank you. I don't know. I don't know, I feel like I'm in U.S. Embassy, came for an interview. I'm sure this is my first time experiencing talking to delegates and amazing people here. So as Mr. Huey said, I've been working for Sunnyside 7 years. So I have a lot of people, I know them. They've been supporting me, helping me, and Miss Maria, when I Miss Mary. Yeah, you. Yeah, yeah, so she might not remember me, but when I first came in 2019, so we had a special SPED meeting with the new teachers, and she took me to Walmart and bought me groceries and everything. And a lot of people, and Miss Mora, she supported me when I got the new kids, a lot of behaviors, and she came to me and she supported me like we are with you. And I just wanted to say that everybody here, they support me, and this is not me. All of us, you all did this to me. Thank you so much for all your support. And Mr. Huey is one of my amazing, great pillars in support. He always encouraged me, and he comes straight to the point. That's what. Thank you so much, Mr. Huey. Thank you.
All right. Wow. That was amazing. I love hearing our teachers talk. I love that our teachers get recognized with these special awards because of what they do in their classrooms each and every day, right? They're changing lives, they're impacting lives, and you hear the passion, you see the passion, and they don't do it for this. They don't do it for the awards. They do it for the kids. They do it for the families, and you heard it here, right? I mean, we have a parent at Mission Manor who's 2 for 2 with nominations, and she let us know, and we're like, thank you, but she sees the impact teachers have made on her son, but not just her son, all the other students, right? Our exceptional ed students that Mr. Oscar works with, takes special people, to do that job, and it's hard. It's a hard job, right? And so thank you for all you do. And I love the story of the people that have supported you in the community, because that's what Sunnyside stands for, right? We support each other. And so, Ms. Fierros, congratulations. I've seen her, make the moves, right? From elementary to middle school. I was going to say junior high, middle school, and then and now high school, right? And she's made these transitions, which are not easy transitions. She's made them pretty smooth. She's made them look easy. And what I will say is this: everywhere she goes, she impacts students. And she's done it at all levels now, right? And so, and you can tell a culture of a classroom when you walk in. And when we walked in that day, I mean, there's no better honor than when it comes from your students, right? And you can see it in the students, how excited they were for her, right? And she was just teaching away. She was in her lesson, she was going, and then she was surprised, and so it was neat to see. And then the family that was there as well, mom, dad, and brothers, and she comes from a family of educators, right? I mean, her sister's an educator, her brother works at the U of A, Connie works at Los Amigos. I mean, so it's neat that we have the whole family here in Sunnyside. We got to work on getting your brother over here. But, and just a fun fact story, her dad, Senor Ruben Fierros, was our insurance agent back in the day when they used to come to your house and you know and collect the checks for the insurance payments and all that. And he used to have coffee with my mom and dad, and so he's probably known me since I was a little travieso, like this big. And so it's great to see him and see that, you know, his children are contributing to this community in a positive way. So thank you. Thank you. And you know, as we're so proud of these accomplishments, and we know there's a lot of teachers deserving of this, a lot of teachers, and that's why it's important for us to nominate teachers for these awards. We are going to brag and say we got the 2 out of the 5, but I want 5 out of 5 next time, right? So thank you. Thank you.
You're good for another 30 years.
Bring your parents up here, Wendy. Wendy, bring your parents up here.
Yeah, okay.
That's the best part.
Yeah, that's the best part.
Now let's get to work.
No, fun parts. Now we have called to the audience. Probably should read this. Those requesting to address the board may do so at this time. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Communicate respectfully with your words, tone, and body language. So, speakers, in accordance with the Arizona Open Meeting Law, board members may not respond, comment, or ask questions of speakers regarding issues not on the agenda. Members of the governing board cannot respond to the concerns at the board meeting, but can direct the superintendent to respond to the concerns or topics. Okay, we have Amy Santos.
Governing Board and Superintendent Gastelum. My name is Amy Vindiola Santos. My husband Michael and I are current parents to 3 freshmen, one at Innovation Tech and TUSD, JTED, from Dr. Storm, of course. I have a daughter who's on the spectrum who attends Abbey School private school over in the TUSD neighborhood. We live in TUSD, but we're renegades who have been in Sunnyside District since my kids have been in 4th grade. I started Gallego Intermediate, first under principal. Her dad has been a folk singer for forever, and then with Principal Dong. Amazing. Our kids started 4th grade in 2020, COVID. So I'm here tonight, not to complain, but to thank you. And it's 2 things I want to thank you for. One, for continuing to replicate in the educational institution what I see in the community in Sunnyside at large, and honestly in the South Side. Everybody thinks, oh, South Side, oh. They have no idea how many people we have from Sunnyside, from the Sunnyside community that are doing amazing things. I mean, Latino USA, having people that are helping to forward journalism, Sunnyside graduates. So anyways, we want to thank you for that. Like I said, we started 4th grade during COVID, and our kids were, you helped us learn under difficult circumstances, and the fact that all of the staff, and I believe Mrs. Fierros was one of those teachers that we met, was undying. They met us where we are, and my kids learn differently. So we've gone on this time, and now I have freshman Jeremiah, who is a trombone player at Sunnyside High School, and under the direction of Christian Del Rosario, otherwise known to his kids as Chef, is now playing trombone in the marching band. There are only 60 kids with the marching band and the color guard, and it's a rebuilding year. We're not big, and we have to practice wherever we can find it, but our kids are scrappy. Since July, hot heat, 7 a.m. in the morning till 3 in the afternoon, and 3 days a week, we're out there with our kids, watching them in the evenings from 5:30 to 9, practicing. That's their gumption. And we just want to invite you to come out to one of the upcoming home games, hear them, but also know that we're out there with our kids and we are supporting them. But I want to give a shout out especially to the following people. Obviously, Chef, AKA Director Christian Del Rosario, the Freshman Academy. Amazing. What a groundbreaking. Of course, Stephanie Ponce, the principal. Lovely. Shout out to Mrs. Mendoza, the algebra teacher. Kathy Dong from Geigo Intermediate, and also the fabulous Mr. Wagner that inspired my kids to love music and to want to play. So that's me.
Thank you.
Next on the consent agenda,
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda as submitted.
Second.
roll call.
Mr. Bustamante?
Aye.
Ms. Hernandez?
Aye.
Mr. Jaramillo?
Aye.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Aye.
Mrs. Quintero?
Aye. Thank you. General functions, we have the Sunnyside Foundation.
Good evening, President Quintero, members of the board, and Superintendent Gastelum. So I'm excited to present Liz Soltero, the CEO of the Sunnyside Foundation. They have a big week coming up with some really exciting events. So she's here to kind of give us an update, to hear a little bit about what the foundation has been to and their big Gives Week that's coming up.
Good evening, board and Superintendent Gastelum. I have my water nearby in case I start coughing like last time. Just gonna grab my notes. So I'm here to provide an update. I'll do some highlights of what we've been up to and the week that we do have ahead for Gives. We're really excited to bring in that community celebration. As you all know, for under our Excellence in Education Fund, that's one of our priority of 3 funds. We are doing classroom mini grants. That's our legacy program. We just closed those last week. And we anticipate up to around $45,000 in mini grants for this round, potentially more. And then we also just finished up scoring teacher fellow applications for Sunnyside Community Share. So both of those programs are going strong and have a lot of support behind them. We're continuing with dual enrollment, Dollars for Scholars, and we are in our 2nd year of support for our nurse snack program. It's been more than 2 years, but we had a 2-year commitment with United Healthcare. So we're looking forward to continuing that support. They provide snacks in the offices and access to some basic clothing. And then we've been working with with Mr. Mario Castro to fill in gaps in CTE support. So as you all know, we got to celebrate bringing EV to Sunnyside Automotive Program. Last semester in spring, we had a ribbon cutting that you all were part of. And then we were also successful in ushering a gift of $100,000 to the cybersecurity program to help furnish the inside. So those are some of the areas that we're working on. We're excited to work with admin on new leads and donor funding that's coming into the district this year. We continue to be part of now the second year of this Tri-Schools partnership, and NJ, I believe, has done a presentation in the past to you all, but we are excited to continue this work given all the different challenges and transitions that we've experienced at Pima Community College and U of A. We're very dedicated in terms of fundraising for this effort, and excited to see where it goes this year. Something new that's coming up, excuse that I don't have a fancy designed flyer yet, but something new. Our partners at the Rhinehouse Foundation have reserved the space at the Tucson Museum of Art, Mooney Hall, and we get to showcase K through 12 artwork. And so I'm just been in the beginning stages of meeting with the K through 8 art teachers and working with Renee, the lead from Los Amigos, to really figure out how we can get the most out of this opportunity. It will be a fundraiser back for the arts, and teachers can submit their artwork as well as community, and it's really open. And so the teachers are really excited to get this opportunity for their students to have a professional experience to add to their portfolio. And we'll make sure we have some Southwest Food Solutions is going to actually provide some appetizers, and we'll have some music, so you all will be invited along with all of our district. And then I'll be meeting soon with Tracy, the lead for high school art, to help us frame out what this looks like, since it's a first of our kind in doing it, but we're really excited, and so are all the teachers. So that's coming in December. Something also in the works, we're working with Mick from Sunnyside High School. He approached Superintendent Castellum, who helped usher him over to us for October 11th, the BYU football game. They always pick a charitable organization to donate to, and we're going to be that recipient for the district. They will donate hygiene items. They've got a lot of food coming into the community food bank, which is already an established partnership that we have for food distribution, so they'll be able to give us extra. And then they're also going to be collecting books, and then we'll get those into the schools. Excuse me. Emergency relief fund continues to be challenging to fundraise for. We provide utility assistance when we have funding. Right now, that support is closed at the moment. We've expensed funds for that, but we're going to continue to fundraise. We're working on reestablishing food distributions, and then our Juntos Fund, which I've talked about in the past, we're finally up and getting ready to roll out with our first distribution of cards. We just received them, and we'll be communicating out to district, to principals and admin next week. And we're working with Andrea's team with Araceli to help us hear from Los Ranchitos on how to serve our SUSD students specifically. Juntos is part of a larger collective. We have several organizations that are helping us, like Scholarships AZ, Derechos Humanos. So everybody has been really helpful in fundraising, from phone banking to, we recently had a really successful fundraiser in community where we did a 50-50 split with Florence Immigrant and Refugee Project, and a private donor reached out to help us coordinate and did a $20,000 matching support for that effort. And so that spawned some momentum that we'll be building off of, but really trying to work hard through trying to get those funds out as smoothly as possible. Our goal is an annual goal of raising $125,000 And we're looking to support 83 families, so with up to $1,500 of support through cash assistance and or legal support directly. Just a little bit on our community investment fund. We partner a lot with the U of A and various city and county departments, focusing in on El Pueblo Neighborhood Center, a very cared about place in our community. And so we'll be having our website go live with them, called Stories South of 22nd, to document all the work that we do in partnership with the U of A, so that it's transparent, so you could see what we've been working on with students and the visits that they're taking place with at El Pueblo. And we have our own alumni from the district in terms of students that are going over to U of A participating in these classes, so it's been a lot of fun. We host different talks for their students. Mr. Jaramillo was part of our environmental justice one last week in partnership with Dr. Barrios. And then as part of our City of Tucson grant from our Families for Our Futures, one of our reinvestment events is helping to celebrate that El Pueblo's turning 50. And so we're going to have an exhibition with community focusing on various themes, educational themes, to really honor the legacy of and role that El Pueblo Neighborhood Center and all the wonderful people that have utilized and created that loving hub in our community. And I'm sorry that my right side's a little blank, but we're getting ready for Gives Week. And we're kicking it off this Sunday, September 14th at Mission Manor. We'll be out there early. We're going to start the race at 8, race walk, whatever you'd like to do. We'll have a coffee vendor. We'll have Viri Viri Bam Bam out there, and those that participate get a burrito at the end. And the end could mean you do the full 3 laps, or it can mean you only do 1. Nobody's judging. We'll have DJ Walter Zadon. He's an alumni from Desert View out there DJing, and we'll have some of our very own alumni board members emceeing for the event. Mr. Gastelum will be helping do a welcome along with Vice Mayor Santa Cruz. And so that'll really kick off our week. We have over 40 vendors for our health and wellness fair. We canvassed the neighborhood as much as we could around the park to make sure folks are invited. And then Principal Huey's been really great with helping us reach more families at Mission Manor. And then we'll be utilizing parking lots since there's a wonderful construction project going up for the aquatic center there at Mission Manor. And then on September 19th, that's our Gives Day block party. We want to invite all of you. It's from 5 to 9. We'll have student performances. We'll have guest MCs. And American Eat co-hosts us. And it's our big day to reach 125,000. This is our big annual fundraiser for the year. But it's also a really accessible celebration. Nobody has to pay to get in. I know parking can be challenging in getting there. But we'll be there celebrating, and we're celebrating everybody from our volunteers to those that come and, utilize resources, and just excited to be part of this. And Cox is our presenting sponsor, and we have an array of supporters behind us as individuals, and those are a list of our partners on the bottom. And I also am excited to share that very day, Principal Ponce connected me with Paul Tang, and they're doing a reunion at Sunnyside High School. So I'll get to present to the class of 75 and get to hopefully get some of them to come over to the block party as well. That concludes my update.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions? No? No
I
questions?
just want to say real quick, thank you for what you all do. I think when you got started, 92?
The foundation?
Yes.
Over 30 years ago.
30
yeah.
years. I remember when they first started. I think Mr. Gaston was a senior at Sunnyside. Thank you for continuing the legacy.
Thank you.
so
Yeah,
much.
and it takes all of us,
Oh, yeah.
staff and community. Everybody helps us from every angle, and so we're appreciative to all the principals and teachers and all of you all, because we couldn't do any of this without everybody by our side. So thank you all.
Without you.
She works hard. Indeed.
Okay, so this is our update on the cell phone use. Mr. Townsend, so we don't want to be here till 10 o'clock, so we're going to keep things brief.
Insist.
What an update, right?
So good evening, Board President Quintero, members of the board, Superintendent Castellum. Just so you all know, Ms. Quintero and I were joking a little earlier tonight that as much as I would love to talk about this for 2 hours, she told me she wasn't feeling tired. She was feeling a little tired tonight, so we'll be brief. But I think it is a good time. You know, you'll see here on the first slide that House Bill 2484, which some people know as, you know, the cell phone law or the cell phone policy or the cell phone ban. There's a lot of, I would call it misinformation, and I'll try to clear that up. That actually has not taken effect yet, but it will be official on September 26th. It's taken effect in our schools and across the state, and in reality in about 35 states, and we can get into that a little bit more later. But you can see here on the first slide just a little bit of the history that in April this bill was passed, and it requires all of our public charter schools to adopt and enforce policies limiting the use of, right? And I really want to emphasize limiting. There's been some misinformation, I think, really that's been kind of put through the media where you hear the word ban, you see these special presentations at certain schools here in Tucson, and they're labeling them as ban, and that's just not accurate. In Arizona, it's a limit, restrict law. The language within 2484 includes personal electronic devices that we know probably 95% of the students have, as well as devices that are issued by the school. So it includes both that they have their hands on throughout the day. And then key components, you can see again the limit, the restrict, and then there are exceptions built into the bill, which I think we would all agree are very necessary and worthwhile exceptions. There's a lot of details within those, but you know, just an overview, there are educational purposes where these devices do serve a purpose. You know, I mean, I would guess that during certain school visits and classroom walkthroughs, we've all had the opportunity to see these used well and used effectively and used safely. That is the majority of it. There are emergencies that have come up where, you know, these items are needed, especially in the eyes of, you know, a lot of students and parents. There is a place for that. And then medical needs, you know, there's a variety of those examples. Some that come to mind would include some students that are diabetic, you know, they're dialed in onto their device and it helps them kind of keep track throughout the day, which we would all agree is necessary. Parent-student communications, those items have been built into communications throughout mainly the beginning of the school year, you know, when kids get back to school and families get their handbooks. High schools do, you know, welcome back kind of town hall meetings with their students. So those communications have all gone out. The why, this list could be added to. I think we could all add a variety of items to this: digital distraction, mental health, fostering in-person connections, which have probably faded over the years. I think we could all agree. State requirements, of course. You know, the scary part about this is, you know, as adults, we all have to admit that this is not just, you know, a primary, middle school, high school problem. This is an epidemic, I think we can all agree, that affects all of us in this room. I mean, I would say that myself included and the majority of us in here, we probably do know that we're on our devices more than we should be, and it's hard to break away. Yeah. So I would, you know, use that as a segue to kind of our policies and why I'm personally glad that Arizona has entered into this. Number one, yes, I'm glad that we've entered in, but number two, as a restrict limit. There are states out there that just went full on into the ban. I think it's going to be really interesting. You know, we're going to be able to sit back and read and learn about those from a distance and kind of see what's working and what's not, because to go cold turkey like that for a lot of kids, the reality is they're going to be running around enforcing and chasing kids around, because just that massive going from what they're kind of used to nothing. Sunnyside has, to me, much more of a realistic approach within the state guidelines. Elementary schools haven't changed. These policies have been in effect for a long time. This is written, I can tell you firsthand, this was written about 8-9 years ago. Our elementaries all use some shape or form variation of this that's very similar to what you see here, and I apologize for the small print. It's just very common sense. You know, the kids have them, they're off, they're put away. At the end of the day, as soon as they leave and they're walking home and they might need to communicate regarding their ride, they've got them out. But they're not out in the classroom, they're not out at recess, you know, they're out. It's a little bit easier to manage there. Let's just say that. There's very few challenges in that K-6 world. The middle school world, a similar approach, and you can see that this particular school kind of spiced their graphics up a little bit, and there's some that have done similar things, but it's very clear cut. They're put away, but they do have the opportunity to, you know, kind of dial in a little bit during lunch, which I think is a reasonable, you know, especially for that age. It's something that I think has gone well. There's been very few things that have come up from a discipline standpoint where kids have had a hard time with these. High school, somewhat similar, but it's really about kind of the communication right off the bat. You know, what we didn't want going into this, because we had ever since April, May, knowing that this was going to be taking effect, we didn't want a scenario where it's like, oh, this is business as usual. You know, we heard about it, they talked about it, but now here they're just doing everything that they've always done. There might be some little pockets where people are still kind of slowly getting in and being reminded a little bit here and there. It's not, we're going to just start suspending kids right and left and chasing them around. I mean, it's not going to be like that, but there is continual reminders that, yes, this is something that is important. This is why. These are the guidelines. So I think the clarity has been there, the communication has been there, and there's been very few items that have come up so far this year. So, you know, before we get to the comments, questions, again, I'll just say that one of the things that I've learned, you know, in the last couple months as I've kind of learned more about the nationwide effort is that there's about 35 states that are on board with either the restrict or limit or the full-on ban. And, you know, again, I'll say that I'm thankful for where we're at because I do believe that it's necessary to reel it in. But I also believe that we're learning a lot from other states that have kind of taken it up a few notches. And we'll be able to see what works. I mean, there's some places that have these magnet devices that they're trying, and there's already kids that have outsmarted them, and they've been doing this and they've been doing that, and it's kind of become a chase around scenario. So I think over time we're going to see what actually is successful. Mr. Rodriguez and I went to a session at the law conference specific to this topic, and you know, honestly, there was nothing that we got there that we didn't already know from what we're doing here. They had two school examples that they spoke to. One was a high school district, one was a K-8, and what they're doing is what we're doing, and they're basically saying we're learning as we go. We're making every effort we can within reason. The one thing that was kind of funny that came up, Mr. Rodriguez and I think had a laugh about this, was one district ran into an issue where parents were kind of in an uproar about, well, what if I need to get a hold of my child and it's in the middle of the day and their phone is off and it's in the middle of class time? And they said, well, you know, we have landlines at our school. You can call and we can reach your child if there's something that you need.
How many of those people that were in the classroom in the law conference, how many were on their cell phones while the thing was going on? Like, so.
I would tell you at least 50%.
Of course. It is hard.
It's hard, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one of the things that Mr. Townsend brought up, is that we need to monitor our teachers and our administrators, because at the law conference, when you want to hear and all you see is everybody doing this, okay, what am I missing here? But it is a distraction. And one of the ex-superintendents we talked to, he has 3 students going to Pinnacle, and they have more restrictive cell phone use. They can't have their phone, not even for breaks or lunch. And he said that it's opened up a new world of conversation with the students.
Yes.
So they're actually sitting down at lunch and talking to each other because they don't have the phone to look at. So that was a positive.
Yeah. My daughter gave me a watch,
Ooh,
a smart watch. Yeah, she goes, but the other day it was like ringing, and it's like, oh my gosh, there's a phone on this thing. I gotta talk to the hand. It's like
smart watch policy.
I know, I saw that. It's like there's a smart watch
pick up the
policy.
watch.
I gotta turn it off. It's they're getting more and more creative on how you can talk to each other on a phone.
Yeah, I just want to just share a few thoughts. I think Mr. Townsend's right when he talked about how it was very misleading, a lot of the headlines in the media, a lot of articles talked about a cell phone ban, meaning, we took that, as when you see those headlines, you take it as cell phones aren't allowed at school at all. And that's not the case, right? I mean, we understand that they can be a distraction and they should not be a distraction during instructional time. And so, that's been the emphasis, here, is that they should not be a distraction, to them, to themselves as an individual and to others, during instructional time, especially when our teachers are attempting to deliver instruction. And so, I will say this, I think some of our leaders have done this very well, and I happen to sit in a couple of parent nights, especially the back to school nights. And I know at Lofter, Mr. Kraft did a really nice job of setting expectations, with parents about cell phone use, right? Very clear cut, in terms of like, they are not to be out during class time, right? They are not to be out during instructional time. They have times when they can use them, and it may look a little different at each site, right? Depending on what expectations they've set there. The important thing is that they set an expectation, right? And not ignore it and not just say, oh, it's the same thing, or we're doing what we've always done. That's not the case either. It's something that needs to be managed, right? And we need to make sure that that parents are very clear and students are very clear on what the expectations are moving forward. And so, there are exceptions. Obviously, if you read the bill, there's exceptions that say if it's an emergency, they can pull them out and use it. If they have a special condition, a medical condition that they need their phone for, we would have to know exactly what it is, but there's some exceptions to that. There's exceptions if teachers choose to allow students to use it as a learning tool. Mm-hmm. There's exceptions to that. So it's something that we're learning, and as Mr. Townsend said, we're gonna learn a little bit more, about it. But one thing we will keep, reiterating here is that it should not be disrupting instruction. It should not be disrupting learning.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
More information. It's like the bond election update. Ms. Walters?
Good evening, President Quintero, members of the governing board, Superintendent Gastelum. I was here 2.5 months ago asking this governing board to pass a resolution to go out for a bond election. And I just wanted to give you a brief update. I won't keep you here until 10, Ms. Quintero, I promise. As far as where we're at in the process. On this slide, we have the purpose of the proposed $120 million bond that the governing board authorized a resolution for. That is known as Proposition 416. And as you can see, we have the different categories here. I won't go through all of these, but these are very important because these would be the amounts that we would be held accountable to maintaining that if the bond passes, that we spend up to those limits. We're only authorized to go within a 10% up or down, as long as we don't exceed 120 million. So I'm excited about that. Hopefully we're able to do that. But again, we didn't come up with this 120 million, out of the sky. We had a thorough assessment of our facilities, as you may recall. And although we're very fortunate that we passed 2 overrides 2 years ago, a lot of work has been done throughout the district, thanks to the work of the operations team led by Dr. Morado. And also, we're very excited because all the classroom furniture orders are coming in the next few weeks. There's a lot that has been done, but we realize we need more. Our schools are in urgent need of improvement in long overdue repairs. The capital needs assessment was done by the H2 group, as you may recall, and they identified critical infrastructure needs. So deep down, these are kind of the kind of things that you don't really get to see and make the school pretty, but it makes the school functional and safe. And those are very critical needs that we have. The facility condition assessment was roughly $81 million, with a proposed $47 million to renovate and construct new buildings at Sunnyside High School for $128 million. $28 million. On this next slide, this is some of the factual information that we have to present every time that we provide a bond update. Our bonding capacity is 142 million. The estimated tax rate increase that we expect for 26-27 will be 44 cents, which is about $44 annually per every $100,000 of assessed value. And again, assessed value is not the value of the home, the market value of the home, but it's rather the amount that's used to calculate property taxes. In Sunnyside School District, the average home value in the district is $113,597. Another piece of information that we have to present is the average tax rate that we expect to have for this $120 million bond, which is 93 cents during the life of the bond. Again, that's 20 years. So it would be like a mortgage that we're paying out, for the 20-year period. So was a critical timeline. As you can see, the ones with check marks have already been completed. So we're more than halfway done. Most of this work involved district staff and just reviewing information, literature, numbers, gathering the letters, the statements that needed to go in the voter information pamphlet. So all that work has been completed at this point in time. The next, as you can see there, the voter information pamphlets will be mailed out, hopefully by September 30th. And then the last day for voter registration is October 6th. And then ballots will be mailed to voters October 8th. And then the last day for voters to mail back the ballots would be October 28th. And then last but not least is election day, November 4th. Again, this is an all-mail election. So as far as these timelines and some of the things that have transpired, the request for and against arguments, we had to post notices for those, and we posted those on the district website and also published in the newspaper, the Daily Territorial. We are very happy to announce that 22 arguments for the bond election were received and submitted to the Pima County School Superintendent's Office by the August 8th deadline. And no arguments were filed against the bond. So these statements, and I'm not going to read all the names on here, but this list is quite an elaborate list made up by, city and county leaders, community members and business owners, Sunnyside educators and graduates, including our very own Audrey Jimenez. Letter from the Sunnyside Foundation, our two high school principals, Ms. Ponce and Ms. Duddleson, former superintendent, and last but not least, our board members, and we thank you for that support. As far as the voter information pamphlet, this is almost 60 pages long. And the reason it's so lengthy, I will say that it's in both English and Spanish. But it does include a letter from the Pima County School Superintendent's Office, district contact information, why the election was called, the estimated debt service schedule, all the information that's needed to provide and educate our voters as far as what this initiative is for. Again, the information that I presented to you about the tax impact, proposed capital improvements, and then all the arguments will be on there as well, both English and Spanish. Just the arguments alone are 21 pages. Yes. Sample ballot will be on there as well, and then voter information and frequently asked questions and other important election information. So this is just a sneak peek as far as what that will look like. The next slide is a sample ballot. Again, it's either a yes or no question, pretty simple. But it's got the language of the proposition there, and then the purpose On the next slide is just information about ways to return the ballot and critical deadlines and drop-off locations for ballots and also ballot replacements. So if somebody loses their ballot, they can go to a ballot replacement center and pick one up. And then the drop-off locations at the bottom there. And then some information on election day as far as where you can drop off ballots as well. You know, we do have a lot of community support going on with this initiative. There's a political action committee that's been established and on file with the Pima County School Superintendent's Office. It's yes for Sunnyside Schools in support of Prop 416, and they do have a website, and this is just information how you can get to that website. Other factual information that's been presented throughout the district are the cafecitos with the principal. Our district website has a lot of information on the bonds is there on there as well. And then our upcoming family and community engagement forums, which one will be tomorrow. September 10th and October 1st. And last but not least, social media. I saw some of these next few slides from Ms. Felix. But she did give me permission to use them, right? I'm stealing her thunder from tomorrow. But this is just some of the information that we will be posting on our website and social media. Again, all this is factual information. We're not trying to tell people how to vote, but rather just tell them and inform them why this is so important to our district. And then some other slides on the financial impact and the estimated cost of the bond projects. Some information about our school district. 13,555 students. We have almost 2 million square feet that we have to maintain. The average age of our buildings is 39 years old, with the oldest being Sunnyside High School at 70. And then the number of meals that we serve, again, almost 2 million there, breakfast and lunches and snacks, another 1.5 million there. And then the number of bus routes. Just to give people perspective as far as who we serve and, you know, the strength of this organization and the work that we do. There's a lot more that goes behind the scenes. And then, again, the important dates are on here as well. So that is all I have. I would entertain. And what questions could I answer at this point?
The mail-in ballots got a little bit simpler. There's one less envelope now.
Yeah.
So instead of putting a yellow one and a white one, we just send the yellow one now, so.
Should save us some money, I hope.
think it's pretty smart.
Yes, thank you for all
Thank
your
you.
information.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Our fingers crossed.
Yes.
Well, Mr. Rodriguez, you're up.
Okie dokie. I don't want to bore you, but there's a lot of information that I have. First of all, thank you for allowing me to attend this law conference. It's always an honor to attend something like this and get as much knowledge to do my job in the district and help find the ways that we can do things better, especially when it concerns the law. There was over 600 delegates in attendance at this conference. The first day we went on the School Safety and the Law, which was Title 15, ARS 341 and 342. 341 is the general powers and duties and immunity, and 342 was discretionary powers of school boards. You know, what does the law require? What does the law allow? One of the things that I did put down is that expelling for excessive absenteeism in schools is something that districts are doing. And that's one of the things that, we try to make sure that we do everything we can for the people that are over the 10%. We have some at 25 and some as high as 45%. And some school districts are saying as soon as they reach the excessive, they're dropping them. So, and that's something that they're allowed to do. Also found out that schools aren't liable when a student leaves a district school event. There was somebody that in Phoenix that got injured on the way home from a sporting event and tried to sue the district, but they ruled that the district, once a student leaves an event sponsored by a district, the district is not liable. Okay, prioritizing safety and security. That was Jason Russell. He was, the name of the company he represents is SEC. He was a former Secret Service agent under the Bush and the Obama administration. One of the things he said is complacency in school safety and mental health issues in Arizona districts often are reactionary. There's no 100% foolproof safety plan. And the foundation of the school safety is a trickle-down effect, he says. If the superintendent doesn't prioritize it, no one else will. Same with the school principal. If they don't prioritize it, neither will the staff or the students. The 4 pillars of school safety, according to the SEC, prevention, physical security, emergency operations, and incident management. Assess, plan, and train, that's what he said are important. Safety before Columbine was not very useful or effective. Things changed considerably after Columbine. There's no primary response protocol. Not all Arizona school districts have a designated director of safety, which I found that pretty hard to believe, and we're thankful that we have Mr. Ryan Powell here managing our safety and his team, because there's quite a few districts out there that have no safety director at all. He also stated that ChatGPT is a useful tool in setting up a table talk conversation for safety training if you want to do it in your schools. He also said that 50% of the safety budget should be spent on training how to respond to mental health issues, which is a big concern in our Arizona schools. Also, a continued prioritized training. In emergencies, human beings don't rise to the occasion, they sink to the level of their training. That's pretty important. So if we're not trained, guess what? We're going to panic when something happens, but I think our security team and superintendent on down prioritize the safety of our students. Student engagement is critical to continue to evaluate and adapt as needed. So involve your students as much as you can. Strategic versus tactical in school safety. Okay, and he talked about school safety grants. And you discover, learn, and receive and identify comprehensive school safety. The 6 pillars: mental and behavioral well-being, physical well-being, safety, security, and law enforcement, culture, climate, and community, leadership, Arizona law and policy, emergency operation, and incident management. Okay, mental health, K-12 education, specialist team leader should be in effect in all the schools. Mental health education specialists fall under ARS Title 1520 and ARS 15-124, behavior threat assessment. There were 1,300 school shootings since 1970. In the U.S., is 50 times more shooting than anywhere else. 93% of the shootings were planned in advance. 80% others knew of the intent of the shooter. Over 75% made threats. Guns were used in 61% of the attacks, and 39% were knives. Okay, that was day 1. Day 2. Okay, where he started off, Will Creedley, he's a lawyer, and he started off with the first thing he said is, "We won." And we say, "Okay, we won what?" So I looked for my number underneath my chair or something, but what he said is it was a long-standing suit that was settled August 22nd, 2025, and it was 8 years in the running, and Maricopa judge ruled that Arizona school capital funding system was unconstitutional and did not meet the minimum standards for funding public schools, which would not allow them to maintain safe and functional facilities. This created a system of have and have-nots. The state has indicated that it's going to appeal. But that's really good news for us, because what they were saying about the have and have-nots, if you get a school district with, you have a lot of people with more money, more affluent, that they're going to be able to pass more bonds with higher capacity for spending than someone like our district. So that was really good that happened. And talked about Title VI, the Supreme Court decision barring any consideration of race in schools, including in the context of DEI programs, a suit filed by NAACP, American Federation of Teachers, NEA, versus U.S. Department of Education. So that's pending. Title IX athletics, that was also discussed. There was a suit filed by two transgender girls in Arizona that were banned from participating in girls' sports. Arizona passed a ban in 2022, and they were not allowed, so they were sanctioned by the Arizona court and the District 9 that they cannot participate as transgender girls in girls' sports. Okay, so that was some good news there on the Maricopa judge's ruling. And we also had some other trials that he brought up that I didn't have too many notes. Tinder versus Des Moines, Bethel versus District 403 versus Frazier. So that's quite a few of those. So Mahmoud versus Taylor 2025. And his website, if anybody's interested, Will Creeley, he has some really interesting stuff. It's called the number 4 fire 4fire.org. Okay, and also student records and public record requests, legal and practical consideration, mandatory reporting, Title 15, develop and enforce policies for school personnel to report suspected crimes, threats to safety on school property, including involving weapons or serious physical injury. 13-3620 amendment. Who must report? Person means any member of a school district, a governing board, or a charter school governing board. We see it, we report it. Okay, and Andy talked about Arizona law on cell phones and public use, and I put on here, stresses it's not a ban, it's restrictions. Okay, also day 2, open meeting laws, the landmines. Beware of consent agenda. Not everything should be on consent agenda. There was something that was brought up to us in the table of discussion about something that was brought up in the consent agenda that was overlooked by a board. And it was, I think it was, correct me if I'm mistaken, Ms. Carla, $18,000 a year that they paid for every principal and their family's insurance, medical insurance. And it was costing the district $18,000 per employee. And so it's going to stop. They finally figured out it's costing millions of dollars, but it was only for principals and above, principals, leadership team, and above that were allowed to get that benefit. So they finally said no more, so it's going away. So he said that people are saying, well, $18,000, why am I going to stay here if you're doing away with my $18,000 a year bonus? So some people were leaving.
Were they coming here?
No, they were going somewhere else in Peoria, I think they said. Okay, some of the key requirements of open meetings, notice and agendas, minutes, recordings, a public call to the audience, executive sessions. And he said, don't discuss anything that goes on in executive session, not even with your pets. That's what he said, not even with your pets. So also, whenever you have a decision in the executive session, stay off social media. Do not reveal anything until the district communications team has informed their staff or IE or the community of whatever was discussed, either promotions, reduction in force, dismissals, etc. So it's up to board members just to stay quiet until let the district do their job. And again, there was if there is the public right, some schools don't have a public right for the 3 minutes to speak. Some school districts don't allow that. There's just been too many problems. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Matt Lehman was a guest speaker, and when he was from Conflict to Conversations, and so he did a kind of like a icebreaker, 75 seconds to greet your neighbor, and you go hug everybody and introduce yourself. And I think I had the record, right, Andy? So that was pretty cool to break the ice a little bit. One of the things that the main topic of that was principles, not politics. Society exists with perpetual paradox. So I don't know what that means. He said tradition versus progress, confident versus skeptical, competition versus collaboration, inclusion versus exclusion. Turn the vision into an opportunity for connection and progress. Disagreement is sometimes necessary. 3 of the things he said is educate, equip, and engage. Educate all students, equip all educators, and engage the community. Okay, nationwide injunctions and their reach. Michael Aronoff, with General Counsel, TUSD, Trump versus CASA. That was supposed to be the birthright citizenship lawsuit, Trump versus CASA. And what the Supreme Court did was they turned that away from anything having to do with birthright and what birthright citizenship means, and they turned it into a Supreme Court fight stating that a lower district court judge cannot make a decision to have an injunction across the country. Had nothing to do with the topic. It had to do with that court being allowed to place an injunction on birthright. So they took the whole thing away from it, and so there's several appeals. Let's see. Yeah, the lawsuit was intended to address birthright citizenship, and it didn't. It just addressed the authority to issue a universal injunction across the country. So it took away the whole topic about defining what is birthright and what it isn't. Okay. Also, we talked about Title VI and Title IX. Title IX was at Doe versus Horn, which was in Arizona. ARS 15-120.02 requires schools to designate teams, sports based on biological sex, and bars males from playing on teams designated for females. There's 2 transgender girls in Arizona, injunction by the Ninth Circuit Court. Also talked about immigration and the K-12 landscape and the executive orders that our president has put on us. Recent executive orders that may impact immigration in our schools. Executive order protecting the meaning and value of an American citizenship. Executive order protecting the American people from invasion. Executive order declaring a national emergency at the border. Executive order protecting us from foreign terrorism. Executive order guaranteeing the state's protection against invasion. Executive order realigning the U.S. refugees admissions program. So all of those things we have against us right now signed as executive orders. Also, one of the things I intended was navigating the ASB Delegate Assembly, the roles that we played, the procedures that we had in order to make a comment, how we had to put it on paper in order for it to be addressed. So the Delegate Assembly was on Saturday. There was 78 delegates, 66 delegates were in attendance in person, and 12 were via phone. So we did have, as you can imagine, hiccups because it's designated delegates can vote on anything. So what was happening is that we had alternates that were also online viewing the process that somehow got somebody's code, and they were also voting. So one time we had 90-some people voting. We're saying, wait, how can we have so many? Some people were voting twice. Some people were voting that weren't supposed to. So after we straightened out all the glitches, we started going through to approve the legislative committee's agenda. So I gotta thank the legislative committee, and especially one of our own in the southern part of Arizona, from Vail, Mr. Chris King. He was the chairman of the legislative committee. He did an excellent job in making sure this was a smooth process. So the topics that we're gonna send the 2026 draft political agenda, this goes to our lobbyists in Phoenix, and these are the main concerns that we have that we need addressed if they come up. So number one is adequately and equitably fund district schools to a national medium per pupil funding. Number two, provide consistent, dedicated sources of base funding based on most recent statewide cost studies. Transportation, including maintenance and increased costs for CTEDs and rural schools. Okay, so we have quite a few things under number one, adequately and equitably fund district schools to a national medium public level. We have a whole bunch of stuff, but I've just read the stuff that was added. Also was provide funding for new space before existing schools become overcrowded. Advocate for the SFOB to set a standard for replacement of buildings that have exceeded their useful life. Advocate for the SFOB to use a professional demographer firm in determining school construction. Advocate for capacity standards that reflect the design of instructional space, include funding for capital repairs. The second one was preserve, respect, and strengthen local control. And this is also ensure local control and flexibility in managing the funds and programs within the Arizona constitutional requirements of a general and uniform public school system. And one of the things that was added was support local school board authority regarding open enrollment. Number three was improve opportunities and outcomes for all students. Increase the compulsory attendance age from 16 to 18 years, or the attainment of a high school diploma or GED before the age of 18. Number four was require public accountability and transparency for taxpayer dollars spent on education. One of the things that was added was excuse me, increase public school tax credit donation limits to match those allowed for private schools. So whatever a private school is, I think it's over $2,000 in some of the Catholic schools and private schools. So they're going to push for, instead of just a $400 cap for a married couple for a public school, we want to match whatever a private school is allowed to give. There was quite a bit of discussion on that, saying, well, people can't even afford $400. How are they going to afford that cap? Well, whatever they put in, it's taxable. It's a tax donation. So if they can't afford whatever the $2,000 plus, whatever they give is going to be able to be written off as a tax write-off. The number five was Arizona's rural and remote schools. Number six was school safety and security. And one of the things that was taken out, but there was some lengthy conversation on it, one of the things that was omitted before was that at K-12 schools, Arizona school boards call upon all state, federal, tribal, and local officials to address the causes and impact of increased gun violence at K-12 schools. So that was originally taken off by the executive board, but after lengthy discussion, it was voted back in. And the number six was federal advocacy. Advocate for maintenance and improvement of bus routes on tribal and federal land. So everything that was proposed was passed unanimously. I think they had maybe one person or one delegate that voted against it, but overall, so this agenda is going to be sent to the committee that lobbies for the Arizona School Boards Association, and hopefully everything that we ask comes up and gets a chance to be heard, and get the funding to our schools that we deserve, get the money that we need to keep our teachers here, and all the resources we need to keep our teachers here and our schools safe and our students safe. So
Thank you very much.
that's it. You're welcome.
Good job.
Thank you.
I think we're done. Oh, no, we have future agenda items. Anybody have anything? Nothing? Have anything?
I want to thank Mr. Rodriguez for giving us all the information.
You're
I
welcome.
know that it's a hard issue when you go out there and you got to look at other people and they have that look like that, I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
You know, and I've been to a couple of those meetings with you in the past, and it's very interesting. Thank you very much.
You're
It's a
welcome.
long afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, next year we need to make sure all board members go so that way they can take one day and I can take one day and you can take one day. Because man, it's a lot to keep track of here.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez.
You're welcome.
All righty. So we are on our way out the door. We have no, you don't have anything future agenda then? No. You don't? No. We don't have
We
unfinished
got-
business?
No, we just want to mention tomorrow's community forum, maybe. The community forum
The
tomorrow.
community forum, I think.
I've got a
Mr.
question.
Superintendent, question?
Mr. Costello, Superintendent Costello, tomorrow, are you gonna have a discussion in the community meeting about the phone use?
That won't be a topic for tomorrow, but it is going to be a future topic.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Do I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Bustamante?
Aye.
Ms. Hernandez?
Aye.
Mr. Jaramillo?
Aye.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Aye.
Mrs. Quintero?
Aye. Thank you.